All right, everybody, here we are back today with a new style. We are Zooming. So
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
hopefully, this will end up as our first video on YouTube in addition to our normal audio podcast.
So, welcome to the Dirty Old Hose podcast.
Yes, and I'm Krista.
And I'm Tracy.
So here we go. What are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about keeping it simple.
We have talked a lot about not the chemicals, like the sugars and all the stuff hidden in foods. So let's kind of bring it back to that farm life and how you can use simple ingredients and like deprocess your life.
The three P's: plan, purchase, prepare.
I mean, yeah, meal planning is always a positive. Do you want to go into detail of that, or is that just it?
Um, well, I mean, I do have a list, shop the perimeter, shop on a full stomach. Oh my God, don't ever shop hungry. Have you ever done that? You
Yes, it's
shop hungry.
yeah, I end up getting a candy bar or something.
Yeah, you end up getting something stupid and then compare unit prices. I'm always teaching the kids to compare the little boxes
Yes.
and make sure so um I mean what all do you want to talk about? I have lots of notes that I took that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, well, I know there is one of the things that I came across, and I had to really think about it to see if it's something I do. And like, yes and no. So it's called the five ingredient rule. Choose foods with less than five ingredients, and all things you recognize and know are real food. And I was like, a lot of my recipes have more than five ingredients. But if you think about it, like if you go and buy crushed tomatoes, there's three ingredients in it. It's tomatoes, water, and salt. Like that's what they're talking about. Don't buy processed foods that have a ton of ingredients. You want to buy mixed vegetables. So there's nothing in it but mixed vegetables. So that's what they're referring to. So you're buy only packaged food with ingredients you recognize or can pronounce.
Right. And I had high processed foods contain lots of sodium and sugar and very little nutrients. They're expensive if you break down how much it you can per cup, how much you get in those boxes, how much you can make at home.
Oh yeah, if you made it from scratch.
Right. And I also had on here well, one of my friends had told me that his experience with farmers markets, which I think is very limited, was a horrible experience, and he wasn't any different than the grocery store. The quality of the food and was twice as high. So, would you like to tell him why it's higher?
Well, one, it very well could have been twice as high, because we don't do, massive volume. So when you
Right.
go to the grocery store and they are shipping entire truckloads and buying these wholesale prices, they can get better prices on them than someone who is growing, three rows of it in their garden.
Right. Right.
So, but you have to take into consideration, how far that food was trucked, that it was probably picked before it was ready so that it would have time before it expired to get to the stores. It's been refrigerated for a long period of time. Whereas when you go to the farmer's market, you might pay a little more, but you're literally getting it from the field that day. So it's got all of the nutrition and everything packed into it.
Right.
And it's less likely to be sprayed with chemicals and pesticides and stuff like that than at the store. Now, if you want to compare apples to apples, then you would have to compare what's at the farmer's market to something like whole food stores where
Right.
and organic. And so
Right.
then if you actually compare those two things, then the prices are going to be very close. Now, as far as quality, if he went to a state run farmers market where they have we have one of those around here, and they have a building that there are vendors set up in as if they are a store, and they are there 24/7 basically. And guess what? They're not growing zucchini in the middle of winter around here. They are
Mhm.
importing it just like the grocery store is. So
Right.
farmers markets can be deceptive, and you have to investigate that. You have to talk to the vendors and watch for signage and figure out who is running these things
That's
because
what I had on here. Local family owned. Will they let you visit the farm? Where are they getting their stuff? Are they friendly? What kind of vibe do you get from them? Do they
well
answer your questions? Do they know what they're talking about? How long have they been in business?
well a lot of the farmers markets around here that I have found are state sponsored. They get money from the town, the government, other government organizations. And so they're able, and the reason they do this is they're pretty much all nonprofit, and they are able to accept EBT and use programs that the state funds for the shoppers and stuff like that. And so what you often get in there, there are some great farmers that go there, don't get me wrong, but you, depending on where you're at, you will also get state run or city run or organization run farms. I don't really know the word for this, but it's like where the organization puts up the money and they use a city block in the middle of downtown and they grow stuff in it. That's great, but then they come and sell it for a high price at the market. So the people that are in that direct vicinity don't necessarily get the benefit of that empty vacant lot because it's not necessarily a community garden. It's still owned by the city, and then the city takes it to the city run farmers market. Like there's so much, like I need to do a whole thing on farmers markets because it will blow your mind what you think you know, what you expect from a farmer's market, and what the reality of a farmer's market is.
Right.
Now, I am a farmer's market vendor, but having learned all this, I'm very happy that I am at a privately owned
Well, I was gonna
farmer's
say
market.
y'all's farmers market is a lot different.
Yes,
And I think the one that my friend is going to is like the big one over there
yes,
on,
off the highway.
yeah.
Yeah, and that is a state run farmer's market.
Yeah, and you're not, I mean,
And
it's,
the guy who runs that one makes a lot of money.
yeah.
He gets a very fat 6-figure paycheck to run that market.
Wow.
He used to run one of the big corporate farms that's in the neighboring city here, where the owner actually lives like out in Montana and never sets foot on the property.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, yeah, it's very much a corporate run farmers
So
market that
I'm
is
hoping
funded
to,
completely by the state.
so I'm hoping to get to hang out with you at one of your farmers markets, and I'm gonna talk him into coming and see if we can get him on a good farmers market.
Yeah, yeah, it's totally different when you have markets who require their farmers to be within a 50-mile radius, and
Right.
um they come out to your market and check you out before they let you come.
We're
And
going to change your mind about farmers markets.
yeah, yeah, it's totally different. And any of my customers know that they can always come to my house and get stuff.
Right.
Like it is what it is.
You're the chicken mafia.
The chicken mafia, the crazy chicken lady.
I
Um, yeah.
actually have a dozen of white breasts in the incubator right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna fire up mine on Monday. I'm waiting because I have another school program that I do. I have a
Yeah.
couple schools that hatch eggs and give me the chicks back, and they're starting next week. So I want to run mine at the same time. So then when all the babies are born, I can put them together.
I'm just going to run one batch after the next. I'm just in baby mode right now with the goats
Well,
and
just be careful
calves
with
and,
that because at 21 days, when your next batch is available, you got to have somewhere to put them.
oh, I do. I'm
Okay.
good.
All right.
But
You'll be out there building rabbit hutches.
I have a rabbit hutch. I have
Yeah.
one.
Right. But if your breasts are separated into the little pen, and then you have 21-day-old chicks in one, and then
Right.
brand new chicks, you'll need somewhere else.
The next batch is just gonna be mutts. I'm just gonna see what I can
So you're gonna let the
hatch.
breasts back out.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
They're not called mutts, they're called barnyard mix.
They're called beautiful babies. But anyway.
So back to the simple ingredients. One of the ways to, well, let's talk about the store because I feel like that's kind of where you were going with the shop, the perimeter and
Ooh,
stuff.
sorry, guys. I'm so tired.
There are 10,000 accepted ingredients that can be added to our food. Did you know that?
More than that. It's more than that now. Yeah, we've said that before on another podcast.
So eat food that is just food. Stay away from anything that is a marketing ploy. We've said that before too. No trans
Yep.
fats, antibiotic free, reduced sugar, blah, blah, blah. It's just,
Yep.
it's buzzwords. And so basically, anytime you see those
Butt words.
buzzwords,
Stay away from butt words.
yeah, you know that it's basically shit food.
The less ingredients a box has, the better it is. The less
Yes.
ingredients it has. If it's broccoli, ta-da! That's
Well,
good for you.
that's that 5 ingredient rule I talked about a while
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
And then when reading ingredients, the most abundant is always listed first, and then the rest follows by weight.
Right. So if it says sugar first or corn syrup, that's the biggest ingredient in that recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or when you go to get um
Or
something and
chemicals.
it's like a soup or whatever, and the first ingredient's water. Like,
That's
really?
all your facial products
It drives me crazy.
like glycol or sterile mineral water or something like that. And I'm like,
I'll just go
why am I
out.
paying $20 for a moisturizer and the first ingredient is water?
Right. So avoid preservatives, additives, colorings, natural flavorings,
It is a
and
natural flavoring, but
spices.
I don't want it.
Well, they hide stuff in those because food manufacturers are not required to list ingredients that appear in trace amounts.
Right.
So, they can hide trace amounts of bat poop or whatever in
Rat
spices.
poop. Did you say rat poop?
Bat poop, rat
Rat
poop,
poop. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Roach legs, like you would be surprised at some of these
Oh,
highly manufactured things what is actually found in them, and it's acceptable, and
yeah.
it's like roach legs, cricket legs, spiders, and you eat it and don't even know.
Yeah. And you're not going to, and it might gross you out, and it's not going to hurt you. It's just,
Well,
you don't want that. That's not what you're buying.
there's a statistic that says something like I freaked out. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like the average person swallows 12 spiders in their lifetime just in their sleep. Just like spiders crawling in your mouth or what. I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
That
I
freaked
thought it
me out
was
for a
8,
while.
so it's up to 12 now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't remember the exact statistic. I just remember reading it and freaking
So
out. Like,
all you vegans, you're actually eating meat. You just don't know
think
it.
about, riding down the road or just walking through your yard, how many gnats fly up your nose, and or like you ride your bike and you inhale a bug. Like, I can't possibly be the only person that has done that multiple times.
Another thing, I guess if we're talking about stores, still, I guess look for sales on long term items like beans and lentils and nuts and dried fruits and spices and salts,
Yeah,
things
and
like
we'll
that.
we'll get into a list of like how to
Oh,
stock a pantry.
did you do a list of things that you buy every week?
Not that I buy every week, but I did like a well-stocked kitchen list.
Oh, that's so cool because I did what I buy every week
All
and
right.
spices that I have to have all the
Okay.
time.
All right. So we'll start getting into,
So that's funny because we'll see what the difference is.
yeah, we'll get into that. So now that we've kind of talked about the stores and looking at ingredients and things like that, um,
Well,
you have one more thing?
yeah,
Well,
one more thing on the stores. Are you going to move off of stores?
yeah.
Okay, well, I was going to say when you go to the stores, you can buy the, cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the, grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of meat. When you're going to, if you decide to go to the grocery store, you can buy the cheaper cuts of me the butcher or the farmer's market or the store or whatever, your cheaper cuts of meat, like your beef, are going to be your chuck roast, and those are a little bit tougher. But they, if you cook them slow in a like a slow roaster
A crock
or
pot.
crock pot on low all day long, it makes them more tender. A brisket, if you can get like the whole thing and then take the fat off of it, it's that's going to be a lower. Uh, what am I trying to say? It's a you have to cook it slow and low. Just
But you
remember
can get
slow.
better prices on
You can get
certain
better,
meat
yeah,
cuts.
when you buy things whole. And flank and skirt steaks are usually cheaper. And honestly, the cheaper ground beef, and the only reason it's cheaper is it has more fat in it. But the more you cook it and drain it, the more fat comes out of it.
And you can actually cook it with some water in it.
I was just fixing to
And that
say,
one helps like steam the fat out, and it also helps you drain the fat off easier.
well, I don't know about steam the fat off, but you can keep draining it and putting it in paper towels. But make sure you're not using paper towels with plastic coating on it. But for pork, you can do the pork shoulders. Now, that's the one thing that I do buy every now and then because, like, they'll have them on sale for like 80 cents a pound, and you can get those huge pork shoulders.
And we've
And I
already
don't,
talked about pork and how it is raised here in the US and everything. So,
yeah, so you can get those pork shoulders, and sometimes you can get like a 14-pound shoulder for $14. It's crazy. And then I can make meals all week. I don't eat a whole lot of pork, but I do like a good barbecue sandwich every now and then. And I make a mean barbecue. So you can actually cook that pork slow, roll it in the oven all day long on like 225 for like 8 to 9 hours, and then pull it apart and make a really good barbecue or chunks, And then your chicken is your chicken legs, your thighs, your drumsticks,
the
and
whole chicken actually is
the
like the
whole
cheapest way to
chicken.
go.
That's what I had, or a whole turkey. Good Lord, you can make anything out of a whole chicken.
Well, I
You
think
can make
sometimes people are daunted by getting
the
a whole
whole,
chicken or a
yeah,
big pork roast, but you honestly, if you buy the meat in bulk, you can go ahead and cook it and prep so many meals ahead of time,
yeah,
which helps
yeah,
because that's one of our problems, especially in America. I don't know about other countries, but in America, our problem is the way we live. We live such a congested, fast-paced life,
and
and
that's
that
what
we
we're
get,
talking about,
yeah, we get overwhelmed. So trying to deprocess your life and quit relying on all these quick, convenient processed foods, one
right?
of those ways is to meal prep.
And
And
that's what,
by doing it like she's talking about with the big quantity meats, you can go ahead and make dinner and then have 4 or 5 other
right,
cooked meat portions in the freezer ready to go.
right. And see, and I did. I cooked that pork roast and made a bunch of barbecue, and we ate on it for a couple of days, and then I put the rest of it in the freezer. So it's ready to go. All I got to do is get it out, warm it up, and it's ready to make barbecue sandwiches again.
Right.
Um, Another thing people forget about is canned fish, like canned tuna. I know, but if it makes for really easy, quick meals,
It is.
lunches,
It is. And
salads,
yeah. And it's good for you. It's
tuna
fine. I
salad.
have a personal problem with it, and that's just on me.
I love canned tuna. But anyway, and don't forget that beans can replace a meat every now and then. Your beans are really good for you every now and then. I wouldn't eat them every day, but
Yeah, well, I mean, you might just smell a little bit.
that would just be glad you can't smell me now because I've been working down in the barn all day. I came up here, brushed the hay out of my hair, slapped some mascara on for this Zoom call. Just be glad we don't have smell-o-vision. But another thing well, I guess, let me see if I have
Well,
anything
since
else.
you've been talking about like ways to make it more affordable by buying in
Yeah.
bulk, don't forget frozen foods in large
And
quantities.
that's what I had next
Yeah,
was,
like the big bags of vegetables
and
that you,
fruits.
yeah, and there really is nothing else in them. It's just vegetables and fruits, flash
Right,
frozen, stuck in the freezer. It's
right.
a great way to
You
get
can just get out a
affordable.
handful of broccoli and stick it in
Yeah, yeah, the berries. And they have this pretty much the same nutritional content
yeah.
as fresh. So
Yep.
if it's a lot of people use the excuse, well, I can't eat healthy because I can't afford it. But you literally could have more meals by buying a bulk bag of vegetables and a whole chicken. You could make 3 to 4
Well,
meals out of that than
right,
buying hamburger helper
right.
or Dinty Moore beef stew or whatever.
God, Denny Moore beef stew is so bad for you.
Right.
Well, I know like a big bag of frozen fruit at Aldi is like $6. And I know Brianna can make smoothies with those.
And if you do have the money to say
And
spend a
I
little bit more,
don't
you
have a lot of money. So
then you can do bulk food stores. And if you want to go the organic route, you could do azure.com, you could do CSA and local farmers markets. And
there's a ton of online food places I'm just now learning about, but they don't come, a lot of them don't come from reputable places. I
yeah,
didn't realize there was a lot more than there was. I gotta, Fred is here with
I
me.
see that. Is it Fred or is it a fly?
It's a fly.
Oh, that's Henry.
I told you I smelled.
You did, and he is proving it. All right. So is that all for the stores?
Dang,
Yeah, he
he's
is
attacking
attacking
me.
you.
Well, I was just gonna say look for generic brands if you have to buy things. Just some companies actually produce generic brands for other companies.
Oh yeah.
So, okay. Let me go read
Back.
the labels. Da, 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 da. Look at generic brands. Some companies actually produce generic brands for other companies, and so read your labels, and they may be the same thing,
Right.
just cheaper.
Yeah. Well, and then some of them, like I know there's a few things at Aldi's that are not as good as the regular, but then there's some things at Aldi's that are honestly better. Like I personally love Aldi's corned beef better than the regular corned beef.
Armor or whatever
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Aldi's brand better.
I do not like Aldi's brand better,
Oh, I do.
but I don't eat hash that much. So,
I mean, we don't eat it a lot, but it is one of my favorite things. So I do try to have it for breakfast like once a month.
oh wow, no, I don't. I can't have it that much. It hurts my.
Oh no,
Um,
hash and fried egg on top is like one of my favorite things in the world.
I mean, it is. I love it with toast, but I just can't
Yes.
eat it. That's like a once a year guilty pleasure type thing.
Oh no, I could eat it probably average once a month.
Ooh, I could, but I shouldn't. I'm not going. Not going to.
All right. Um so now that we've got people in the mindset of buying like raw ingredients or, frozen ingredients in bulk, we've talked to them about budgeting it and how to do it. How do we do it? So focusing on recipes and a way of cooking that's using simple, healthy ingredients and a basic stocked kitchen. It's almost, if you think about using simple ingredients and a deprocessed life, it's almost a minimalist approach to food. So you highlight whole on uncomplex foods, unprocessed, and it avoids adding sugars and chemicals and stuff because you're doing everything yourself. And it doesn't have to be hard. Um, for example, last night I grabbed steaks out of the freezer and picked asparagus, and then I had bought some asparagus that looked really good at the store. I have a great asparagus patch, but I get like a handful at a time, and with five basically adults eating here because my children are giant, um, that's not enough. So I bought asparagus and I just grilled it all on the grill.
Right.
It's uncomplicated. Little
It's
salt and
funny how
pepper and olive oil.
you say my children like you just birthed Chandler.
Well, I mean, I still have two even without him, but my 14-year-old son is the same size as my 24-year-old nephew. Like they literally
I
are the
know,
same
but I think
size.
it's cute that you say my children like you just have three now.
Yeah, I do. I do.
He appeared.
He appeared. I mean, he looks like the rest of us.
He does. Like you would never know.
That he and Matt were not brothers.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So eating simple and eating quality does not have to be difficult. So let's go through um, the well stocked. I called this the well stocked farm kitchen. And you don't have to have a farm to have a well stocked kitchen.
No.
You can get all of this at the grocery store. But
Well, I mean, just think of any restaurant. They're well stocked.
right, but we're talking about an unprocessed kitchen, like how to eat simple ingredients and eat well. So this
Okay.
so this would be, and you add to it. Well, you're going to do the what you buy every week.
Oh, you want me to do that first?
No, I'll do. You can do that at the end.
Okay.
But this is like an overview of what a well stocked kitchen is, and I actually kind of broke it down by season
Okay.
because if you want to get the best prices and the best quality,
That's what I have on
and
here.
yeah, and you're shopping, like if you're not growing it,
Right.
then you definitely want to shop foods that would be in season. So,
Yep.
like right now, you don't want to buy watermelon because it's not in season anywhere. Maybe South America, I don't know, but it's being shipped. So it's going to be more expensive. So, first of all, like generally, there's really no seasonal meats. Except turkey. Turkey's always cheaper in the fall with Thanksgiving coming up. And if you think about it, they're hatching now. Turkeys naturally are hatching right now. And it takes at least 14 weeks to grow one out. So that puts you midsummer. And then, by the time they bag them and freeze them and ship them out to the stores, you're in the fall. So that's why turkeys are
Bag
that,
'em
I
and
guess.
tag 'em.
Yeah, I guess turkeys do have in essence a season. Um, but stock up at Thanksgiving because they run all the sales, and especially the day after Thanksgiving or the week
Is
after
it like
Thanksgiving.
29 cents a
39 cents was the lowest I saw it last year.
Oh my God, yeah. I
But
still have one of yours in my freezer.
yeah, so sales at grocery stores usually flip over on Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Right.
And so if you go that next Tuesday or Wednesday after Thanksgiving, you'll get really cheap turkey and stuff, and you could stock up for the whole year. You get like three or
If you have freezers.
yeah. Well, I mean, even if you don't, you could go ahead and cook them and then pull the meat and put them in Ziploc bags, which take up a lot less room than
Yeah.
three giant turkeys
Yeah. You would just have to take a day
and do it.
and do it.
And if you can can the meat. But if you don't, you
And
can, you know, pull it and go, or you can debone it raw and put, like one turkey breast in a bag with a marinade and put that in the freezer. And then the next
yes.
time you want it, you just throw it in a casserole dish and oven bake it or whatever. There's so
Right.
many different ways that you could take advantage of these
All right.
sales
So
and
right.
stuff to your meat that you always want to have a stock of, or any beef cuts that you eat, and get the ones that you eat. Don't get stuff like oxtail if you're not going to eat it. Chicken, again, we recommend a whole chicken because you can get it cheaper and do so much more with it. Pork, eggs, turkey, fish. I mean, that's pretty much, if you're a meat eater, eat your meat. Like, have meat on hand. Um, Spring is a time to get strawberries, cabbage, spinach, broccoli. Um, Asparagus is huge right now. This is the best time for asparagus. Brussels sprouts. Now you can always get those frozen any time of the year, pretty much. And then in summer is going to be your tomatoes, cucumbers, melons, okra, eggplant, zucchini, squash. A lot of your fruits, like your blueberries, peaches, blackberries, raspberries. Spring is strawberries, by the way.
You said
Um,
that.
yeah, well, I mentioned just fruit specifically. And then always have on hand carrots, potatoes, celery, onions, and garlic. Those are great storage items, but those are in so many different meals. Like, I use those ingredients nonstop. So I always keep those on hand. And then in your fall is when you want to get your butternut squash, your spaghetti squash, your pumpkin, your acorn, your cranberries, grapes, apples, pears, figs, persimmons. And then winter is your citrus. So in January, February is when you get your citrus.
Yeah.
And then in your regular pantry, if you can make your own bread, bread is one of the worst things to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there are 7 bread ingredients that you basically want to have on hand, and that's of course a flour, liquid, which would be water, milk, or cream, a fat, which is going to be like a shortening or a Crisco or an oil or a butter, sugar, sweeteners if you need it. But that would be for like a sweet bread. But just to make regular bread, you don't really need it. And then, of course, eggs and a leavening agent, which is like baking soda, powder, yeast. And then, if you need flavorings like extracts or spices. So, if you can make your own bread, make your own bread. I haven't got there yet. I know how to, I don't have the time. Rice, pasta, quinoa, grits, oatmeal, and then nuts and seeds, broths, oils, vinegar, dried fruit, and cheese. All those are kind of like that extra, but they are whole foods that you want to have on hand so that you can put together meals from that. So go ahead and tell us what you buy on a weekly basis.
Um, I don't know which one it is. Let me flip through here. Let me see if there was anything else. Oh, you said something about the bread. A lot of nutritionists will tell you to do the whole grains. I still steer clear of breads as much as possible, but if you're going to do breads, another thing is look at doing starter for sourdough.
Yes, yes.
Because that's a little more healthy of an option.
Yeah,
Uh,
anything fermented is a healthier option.
yeah, and then you don't really need your leavening agents. But I was going to tell you the difference between making your stuff at home and going out to eat. All these people that go out to eat. Did I tell you about taking Wyatt out to eat?
Mm-mm.
We took Wyatt out to eat fish for his birthday because we don't have fish. We can't just get fresh fish all the time. So we took him out to eat fish for his birthday. Um, because they say where we went.
Okay.
Okay, well we went up to the. It's not close to here, but took him all the way up to Pirates or out to wherever Pirates Landing.
Is that the one that has the big koi pond out on the deck?
Yeah, and it looks like a big pirate
Ship,
ship.
but yeah,
Yeah, he
I like
loves
that
that
place.
place. Yeah, it takes forever to get there, but anyway. So for a family of 5, no appetizer with a tip included, it was $157.
But you could have gotten all the stuff to make that because you could have gotten frozen fish and frozen
That was a
shrimp.
third of my total grocery bill.
Yeah, but you could have gotten all of that stuff for probably $75 and made it at home.
It probably wouldn't have tasted the same, but because we got scallops and
Well, yeah, because they probably deep fried a lot of stuff and you wouldn't
I
cook it
didn't
like
eat.
that.
I had broiled salmon and steamed vegetables, but the rest of them got you know. But my broiled salmon was just like butter. It melted in your mouth. It was fantastic.
Now, I make a really good broiled salmon.
It was really good. But anyway, I thought that was. I was like, whoa!
Excuse me.
I could go to Aldi's and just about get a week's worth of food
I do. I spend less than $100 at Aldi's per week.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm looking for my grocery list. Okay, here we go. So every week, this is what I get at the grocery store: cabbage, red and green cabbage, onions, garlic, lettuce. Just because I can't grow enough lettuce because we have guinea pigs, and they're pigs. Almond milk, unsweetened, or coconut milk, whichever one I'm in the mood for. Red pepper hummus or garlic hummus. I switch it up. Carrots, frozen broccoli, and I'll switch up oranges or bananas, whichever one looks better. We get frozen salmon steaks, tuna canned in water, extra virgin olive oil when I run out. We get plain Greek yogurt, walnuts or almonds, avocado. Usually I get those 1.5 ounce ones that that way you're not opening a whole one because I can't find the frozen one a lot. The frozen avocado pieces. Uh, Fresh Parmesan, Wyatt likes the real Parmesan. Feta crumbles. Love me some feta cheese. Natural peanut butter or sun butter. We always have dried beans. I always keep like pintos, black eyes, black beans, lentil soups dried in the, you know what I'm talking about? Cucumbers. We always have cucumbers until mine come in because we always grow a tea. We brew our own tea.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would get pork shoulders if they're on sale. Sour cream, rice. Um,
I mean, basically just the whole ingredients. And this isn't going to be for everyone because we don't have to buy usually chicken or beef or and a lot
yeah,
of our
you'll
vegetables
notice
and
there was no chicken or beef on there.
right. And that's not going to be normal for most people.
Red, and if I have to buy potatoes, I do the organic red potatoes because
So
regular
I'm gonna
regular potatoes are killed off with Roundup.
I'm gonna wrap this up with just some ideas real quick. So, like
Okay.
right now, we talked about asparagus is in, spinach is in. So, here are some ideas that you could make really easy, really quick with those ingredients. So,
Okay.
sheet pan asparagus and salmon, or like I said, steak and salmon on the grill,
Yep.
asparagus and spinach quiche, spinach lasagna, pasta with like spinach, tomato, and onion, beans and greens because collard greens are in,
Beans and green.
chicken gnocchi, which you can use have like baked chicken and mashed potatoes one night, and then take the leftover mashed potatoes and make them into gnocchi and make a soup.
Yep.
Quesadillas, you can use the leftover chicken to make quesadillas or taco bowls. You can make chili one night and then make it into a pinto bean casserole and then make it into bowls. So just those are some ideas of how to use different ingredients and make multiple meals during the week to
We need to
keep
do a
it
whole other
fresh.
podcast on that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should, but let's leave it there for now. We'll keep it short and sweet this week and
Okay.
come back next week and we'll see which method, if we liked this Zoom or if we'll be back together or however, we'll do it then. So
Late taters.
later, taters.
And we are going to wrap up the podcast. So thank you for joining us on the
Dirty old
Dirty Old
hose.
Hose.